Hey folks, we are going to continue creating map assets for the upcoming adventure Crystals of Mabar, which we'll be publishing on the DMsGuild as soon as it's done. So give me a hot second here to check my signal, make sure we're coming through. I'll go through my spiel and then we'll dive into this for a couple hours. I'll go through my spiel. Sounds like my signal's coming through A-OK. So let's see, post to Twitter. And I'm going to hit my Discords real quick here. Hold on. Oop. Copy. Okay, great. So while I'm going through my Discords here real quick, I'll just tell you about me. My name is Theurgy. Hey, I create PDFs for tabletop role-playing games. I've been centering my efforts on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, publishing the content on DMsGuild. There is a slew of different books down in the description down below that you can click on and look at. They're all 100% free preview. You can read anything that I produce cover to cover, including this. There's a ton of map assets, tokens, and stuff that we include with the purchases of all these things, so they're definitely worth your time, especially if you think they're cool. If there's anything that you like about them, there's about probably 130 some odd illustrations between the different books that are listed there. So if nothing else, just flip through and just take a look at how the thing's built and the artwork that's in there. That's kind of what we're doing this stuff for. So you can follow me on Twitter at Theurgy. And we can get into this stuff. So let's see. We can grab this and this and drop those down so you can see the menus. Like, subscribe, hit the bell is the best way to let YouTube know that this is stuff that people should be encouraged to watch. And so we build PDFs. Some content we build directly here on stream, like the text that we were working through earlier today. In the Martial Powers project at lunchtime, or on Saturday, the Spelljammer stream that we did about creating the layouts and the structure of the actual document. So we write and we structure, we send things off to our editor, it comes back, we do the page layouts, we build all the map assets, combat tokens, play mats, any assets that are needed to make the job easier for you to play or to DM content in 5e, as well as then we take the book with a completed format, drop it here into Photoshop like this, and then we create the artwork that goes along with the book. So like here we have the cover to Crystals of Mabar, which we created back like around episode 43 or something like that. And we've been creating map assets here as well. And this is I just got Badoop, so that's a good reminder for me to get my timer up and running. I will not share with you the joke that was passed at me now, but it was funny. 20 minutes on the block. We're going to keep punching through contents for the next couple hours. So if you're hanging out with me, be welcome. Drop a hey down in the comments down below. Love to hear from you. This is the underground facility that we've been creating, Sans Grid. Let's add the grid back in here, and we got our items, BW. Yep, so we got, here's our grid. We'll build this out as a clean room area, fog-filled, polluted, and water. So we've been working on the water area here, and I've obviously been a little busy on my own off stage, which is again the prophecy. So let's just we're just gonna keep hammering away at these blurbly swirls of water and stuff until the thing is done. So let's do that for now. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do for the next couple hours. Let's see what happens, where it leads us, what we stumble into. Nothing scripted here, just pushing pixels, talking about whatever comes to mind. I'm going to drop that grid because I don't need We don't need a grid right now. We ain't measuring steps. We're just making swirls, Vink. Pink swirls. Painting pain into the water. Boo-doo-doo-doo. You probably have this push back like that. Judah. Drop our strength down a little bit so we can get a little bit more of a fade going than just raw pixel pushing. I tell you, man, my gear feels a little off today. Exactly what's going on with that. Ultimately, I can merge these two down and just blend them together. Currently, they're sitting on different spaces, but I'm going to blend them close on separate layers for now. Partially is just as a skill challenge for myself more than anything. Honestly, just to see if I can do it. But the closer I can get it in the separate layers, the easier it'll be to blend them together in the single layer. So, funsies. Huh. What does this button do? Let's punch that up to 100. What? Up that opacity a bit. Blend those in some. Alright, this experiment is failing quickly. Whatever. Challenge failed. I had it super close, then I just stopped giving a damn, and now it's all messed up. Let's rearrange our seat. Take a sip. Get back at it. I don't know why this is so intense right now. I'm not used to my brush being able to smudge so strongly. I don't properly understand what's going on. It's just much more responsive than what I'm used to. Just like the smudge tool itself, it's just pulling more. And I'm used to it being calibrated for. It's throwing me a little bit for a loop, but I'm adapting. Yeah, we're gonna have at this for a couple hours. And then we're going to crash out for the night, and we'll be back in the morning in about 11 hours for us to do some Spelljammer ship token production in the morning. We're working on the Star Moth right now, and that's the last vessel from the Adventures in Space book that we need to produce, and then we're on to our own original content of building fighter craft. So I'm hoping that the Star Moth will go quickly tomorrow, so we can get into some serious design space. Just actually start building new assets tomorrow. God, that's exciting. Text revisions for the Eberron adventure are coming along nicely with myself, Andy, and Stuart back in. Right now we're just working on NPCs and creatures. We're going to see more of the second act dungeons completed here probably in the next couple weeks. So Gods be willing. Well, oh, I see what's going on here. God's willing, we'll have this finished next week, and then we'll be back into the town village, the refugee village to finish up. I liking how that line art is coming along. It's coming along very nicely. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to colorize. And there's the two versions that we have to do for the village. There's the peaceful village, and then there's the post-zombie attack that the characters can opt into as their introduction to the village. They're all dead. Find out why they slaughtered now. Suitable for a 7th or 8th level adventure. Lead them into the forest, into the manifest zone, into the cemetery, into the underground complex, into this map. Smooth transition. Fun. There we go. Please get me out of this freaking little corner. Oh my god. Here we go. Yeah, that'll probably work. We'll do a general fade here, and then we'll layer in the next. There's another layer that's gonna plop in on top of this. So let's get this to a place where we like it, and then we'll drop the next layer on top of it, and just keep grinding. Marbles. Here we go. Just like that. Yeah. That's our first 20-minute marker. Keep at it. Still got 100 minutes on the plate. Ugh, fine, so be it. Nice. Hey, Hernetica. It's good to see you, my man. Pushing pixels. Same as it ever was. I've been noticing a trend that I'm not talking a lot lately. I don't know if it's, I'm concerned that it's that I don't have any specific themed conversation points here. I'm just kind of showing up and pushing pixels because I want to make sure I get the work done. So I mean, like I've said before, this thing's a pretty big accountability issue for me. Just showing up just to do the work, But I'm noticing that without a conversation point, like a specific topic of conversation I want to focus on, that I end up not saying anything. I just kind of listen to the music and fall into the music space. And I guess, I don't know, that might not be a bad thing. It's not it doesn't seem like it's a very engaging thing, though. It's not like this is a lo-fi study hall kind of channel. I guess it could be if I shut up completely. I don't know. I have the feeling that everything about this channel is kind of a mixed signal. Do the same thing. Sort of. Yeah. Well, the art pushing pixels lets you do that. You know, like that null, that empty space, that flow state. It's inviting, and sometimes it just wants you to be quiet. But I don't know. I think I'm overly. I've been thinking a lot about performance versus production, and I know that the bigger the stream gets, the less productive it becomes because it's more performing by engaging people, and I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I want to be able to monetize the channel and just be able to continue just to produce things and have fun with folks, but I think I have to get better at fostering a fun environment to have more people want to have fun, you know? Like, a lot of this I think it just has to do with me being inexperienced and not knowing my voice as a streamer yet, you know, as it were. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get away from doing full book content like this and get into build theory or something. I don't know. Doesn't seem very legitimate though. I mean, authentic. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should start having a topic of conversation, like a specific list. I hope that the channel builds to a point where I got people coming in and hanging out and, you know, asking questions. But I don't think I've really framed myself as an expert DM yet. So much of the channel is just devoted towards artwork. It's not really about DM advice much right now. I kind of aspire for the channel to move in that direction though, because I listen to a lot of content producers and I've always got something I feel like is, you know, something to add to the conversation, but I think the current, I don't know. I was talking about pulling excerpts out of these channels and just making separate little snips out of them, but I haven't actually pulled the trigger on doing that yet. That might end up being a fun direction to go in. I don't know. Let's merge this down a bit. Merge. I think what the real problem is that I've got too much production on my plate right now. I've bitten off a lot, and it's taking me a while to chew through it. Both this and the Spellgenera projects unto themselves are huge projects, and I'm trying to the tandem between the two of them, and I know that's creating a lot of drag on me. But I think more than anything, what that teaches me is to not tackle big projects more than one at a time. Like having small little pieces that I can just tear off chunks of and build out in a week or two, just as a small little side gig on top, you know, in addition to like like one of these bigger projects. I think that'll end up serving me better because I can rotate through content more. So I think it's the freshness of the material versus like being trapped in the same illustration for multiple sessions. I haven't really needed to talk about pathing lately, you know, or like what's in each region and stuff like that, but I can certainly do that as I get further into the texturing and stuff. And I'll have an opportunity to do that sort of thing when we're going through and texturing more. I don't know. What I do know is I shouldn't sweat it. I really should not sweat it. Biggest priority is pushing pixels right now, so just gonna keep pushing pixels. That's what I came here to do. I'm all out of bubblegum. Ugh, God, that's sloppy. Come on, Kearney, keep your lines clean. I can feel there's some sort of a phase transition happening right now. I know it's me specifically, but I tend to think about like connection to the larger picture of what reality is. So I feel this energy moving inside of me, and I feel like it's Muse doesn't want me talking yet. I think she's downloading something. I think that's what it is. My vision keeps shifting on me, and I'm aging. I have this secret hope that as I age and my eyes change shape, that I actually end up with better vision than I was when I was younger. I know that's not going to happen. But for some reason, I'm always hopeful for that. Like the machinery in my eye lacks components in the retina, so I don't receive light correctly. The light hits the back of the retina at the proper angle, so glasses don't technically mean anything. It's my visions of the firmware that connects my eye to my brain apparently is missing components, so the translation, the image gets scuttled in the transmission, so it doesn't come through clean. It always comes through a little garbled. I call it a firmware problem. And I don't think glasses are capable of fixing that, because glasses mess with the hardware. but that firmware, like, it exists in that space between the retina and the optic nerve. So it's the machinery, it's translating the signal improperly. And I keep hoping that, like, I'm going to get hit in the head or something's going to happen. It's going to, like, jostle the machinery just enough that, like, it screws with how the thing is plugged in, and suddenly I can see better than I used to. It's a childish, foolish fantasy, but the more I age, the more I realize things are changing in me. I'm like, maybe it's possible. But it's also a child's dream of somebody who's never been able to properly process the limitations, you know? Physical disabilities are a trick. They are a real thread to needle, a real needle needing threaded. And I think a lot of us just don't even want to deal with it, like, at all. There's no one to blame. Just being born with less. It's just... What are you going to do? Shake your fist at God? It's not going to... Practical... As far as practicality goes, there's not much use to it. You could be angry at creation for creating you, but... That just kind of takes away from the message of that you get to be here at all. It's like, I'd rather... I don't know. Would you rather have a shitty seat to the best concert of your life, or would you just rather not go? It's a loaded question because, you know, I frame it as being the best concert of your life, but all right, all this shit's pissing me off. I'm just gonna do that. Thank you. Yeah, there are things moving through me. I don't know what moves through me. It's just emotions and feelings and stuff. But I don't know. I don't think they're mine. I just get plugged in. I just feel like I get plugged into something, and then the things I start feeling are like an environmental thing, not like a me thing. Like I'm plugged into the environment or like my community or something, and the emotions that move through me like make no sense. They just keep oscillating between different, like 2 or 3 different emotional states that don't necessarily have a lot of correspondence, like happy and angry. Like those, like angry and sad are kind of like adjacent emotions, so you can see like oscillating between those 2 lines, but like happy and angry, that's a weird pairing. It's like when I hit those things, it's like I can't feel like I can own either one of those. It's like I have no idea how these 2 emotional states can coincide. It doesn't make any sense. They can't be mine because they just literally just don't make any sense. They have to be coming. I must be feeling them from someplace else, and maybe in time I'll be able to start honing in on where that else is coming from, and I don't know, maybe there's a bigger purpose I can serve in that discovery. But for now, it's just signal, you know? It's just blips. And it's like, I'm the one that's supposed to make some sort of a cohesive idea out of what this crap is that I'm experiencing. And I'm really thinking that there is none. Like, that's the whole point, is like, don't take personally the things that I feel. They literally have nothing to do with me. which is like if you pan out and look at that in the bigger pictures, like the things that you're angry about in your life, you're not actually angry. It's just this pea puddle in your pool. If life is wading through a pool, your emotions are like pea spots, you know? So like when I get angry or sad or stuff, it's like I wasn't angry or sad a little while ago. What specifically changed here that's having me go down this new emotional path? And sometimes it just makes no sense at all. Or like when you get this like super bent out of shape over something that happens, and then when you wake up and you sleep on it, you know, and when you wake up you're like, oh, that actually wasn't such a big deal at all. It's because you were like in this emotional cloud that was using whatever that event was to trigger, like to jumpstart that emotional sensation. And it's almost like life is like trying to bait us, you know, into having an emotional experience. And I'm almost like the emotions won't stop, but like just being able to lift up the mask of where they're coming from makes me feel like a DMT trip, you know, like machine elves giggling at you, feeding you emotional signals with just for the intent just to see what it does to you. That seems like a very machine elf sort of thing to do. But you can't really, I mean, we're not floating around in DMT all the time, so can't really ask them, you know, what's up with that. Fractals was the word I was trying to think of the other day. I invited Muse to open, and she apparently has something strong. Master. These down now. All right, we're gonna push out this direction. I'm just gonna merge all these down. There's my vision again. That all on open. Something like that. I can feel. Oh yeah, there's something big out there. There's a shambling mound that makes a lair over here. So I'm gonna have to figure out some shambling mound language to fill this area up with. Kind of interesting. There's a roper that hangs out over here, and there's a bunch of assassin vines through here, and then there's a large black pudding here, and there's a bunch of undead and demon types that come from Manifest Zone, just dump into here and just get caught in the swirl and pulled under. So I guess this is what I'm doing right now. Okay. I don't think the muse cares what I'm doing as long as she gets to do something. Though. I think I can probably get away with something like that. Big dog coming through. I think I'm just pushing pixels around. I mean, I always say that I'm just pushing pixels, but I mean, like, seriously, like, for real, I'm just like, I think I'm just doing pixel slurry right now, and I think I'm just trusting the muse is going to make something out of all this crap. Because I have no idea what's going on. It's just blarp to me. But she's guided me right for all these projects so far, so no reason to doubt her now just because I don't know what the hell is going on. That's kind of the point of bringing her on board in the first place, is she can see a bigger picture than me. Like, she already sees the thing that's finished. Now she just has to guide my hand into it. I like that, though. I like how this is set. Just like that. Eeked. Change up the strength of my smudge line here to get a little bit more flow going into it. God, this stuff looks cool. I think I'm super into this. I think what I'm being handed here is the graphic language for me to be able to draw background imagery for the system maps that we have yet to do for the Elias Araxis adventure that we have for the Spelljamming adventure. Like, I think this kind of pixel play would look really good just for a system map, you know, like Doom Space or whatever. I think it's cool language. Yeah, there's things moving. Stuff is God, stuff is really releasing inside of me right now. I've got to learn that like Mondays and Thursdays are like big release days for me. My body just dumps stress and cellular memory like crazy. Like, my ancestry gets cleansed in shit like this. It's a little crazy. Cool that shit is. This is gonna be fun. That slurry flurry. Yeah, we still got 40 minutes left. We're going to keep at this. what a mess. Let's start making sense out of it. We have enough diversity here on the board for us to start blending stuff into something pretty. Drop the strength so I can blend these things in a little bit more into a gradient, as opposed to just pushing pixels across the board, right? We've obviously pushed enough pixels, so now we gotta do something with them. That'll keep us busy. I literally don't know why I'm doing the way I'm doing this. This is just what she wants me to do. I actually have a different writer with me today. She's got I don't know if she has a supervisor with her, but it feels like something that's outranking her. It could just be an observer. I don't think I have. It feels like a different pilot, but I think it's still her. I just think she has somebody I think she just has somebody in the cockpit with her right now. The signal feels differently, and the energy is stronger, so it makes me feel like it's a higher rank. But I don't know its purpose. I thought it was gonna say something like I thought it was here to just drop some serious fucking science tonight. But apparently it's just here for the emotional ride, which is one of the agreements that we make when we allow muses to run the motor set, that she can have co-writers come in. Most of them just want to have the experience of feeling creation. It's my belief that instant gratification is a major issue in heaven, and that's boring to never be challenged. Thus, the machines of flesh that are created to drop into four-dimensional space and to have to go through the painful process of time processing a request instead of just instantly being handed your milkshake. You gotta actually go get milk and build a thing, like as a really shitty analogy. But so the emotional process of actually sensing emotions moving through the body is a very entropic experience that I don't think that disembodied spirits have the opportunity to actually sense entropy. And I think there's something really addictive and compelling about the state of entropy, where things are not eternal, where they're like ideas that flash into existence and then decay out of memory, out of sight, out of mind. And I think that's what being alive is like that flash pan idea of like, here's a character concept, you know, and you white room a cool character build, and then it's just another character that goes onto the stack. But if you actually play through that character, like this slow grind of moment by moment, like grinding reality out one plank length at a time into a narrative of a story that, you know, you're able to, the players were able to process in a matter of nothing. Like in the length of a plank, it's done and already on to the next thing. But that idea still floats there ephemerally through reality as an unfulfilled idea that eventually just, I think, just kind of drops out of heaven in a sort of Kabbalic sort of way. That the inner, like the thought pattern idea of this lifetime is ground through the layers of potential, and just eventually like gathers enough weight to drop out of 5D space into this time space matrix where it just dissolves. And so this best life that we're leading right now is the sensation of the idea of who we are slowly dissolving back into eternal heaven. And so the ecstasy and unbearable pain of living your life is like the carbonation leaving your soda, you know, like the fluid, the liquid is the body machine that you inhabit, while the carbon dioxide is like the spirit. And our entire life is just a Coca-Cola fizzing. Breaking open the can is the moment of birth, and when it finally goes flat, that's when you're dead. Like all the life of it's gone now. So we're just kind of fizzing through existence, and it's that white noise that just feels like bliss. I think our true purpose is to relate to the carbon. But when we don't know who or where we are, we get trapped in the syrup, you know, thick and pasty and coats your tongue, doesn't feel fresh at all, dissolves batteries, you know, like that battery acid feeling. Like that's the negative energy that we can find ourselves stuck inside of. So I've been feeling this crazy fizziness going on, and that's when I feel like there's somebody new present. And I think they're here just to have that new cherry cola flavor, you know? Like I just want to taste the new stuff. And so they drop into the cockpit, the pilot, for a little while, and, you know, get the gist of the game. It's like, yeah, that's cool. And then, you know, they hand, you know, they burn through the quarter and they hand the stick back to whomever it is that's the default player. It might not be that simple. It could be like a layered mixed drink, you know, where you got like scotch on one layer, and then you got like vermouth on another layer, and then you got simple syrup floating on top of it. And then you pour some Coke into it, and that fizz happens, you know. But you have all these different layers of liqueur and different gravity densities that the beverage embodies. So the idea, I think, is that if you can relate to the effervescence of the bubbling energy moving through the beverage, you don't have to get trapped in any particular state or any particular moment of it. That you can just ride the bubbles, as it were, and enjoy that freedom. But will it mix? Will it blend? It blends. I think we're going to see some really, really cool stuff inside of here. Kind of getting the gist of the kind of gradients that we're trying to get worked into here. I'm a little concerned about how volatile it looks, but I think as we continue smoothing the gradients in, it's going to lose some of the. I think it's going to calm down a bit. I think is the proper word, and I think that'll help everything feel a little more cohesive. That's fun. Leave that be. I think what's disruptive about this piece in particular is I don't think I have particularly defined whether the black or the blue is the positive or the negative. You know, like is it the black? Is it naturally blue and then the black is the incursion, or is it naturally black and blue is the incursion? So like little pockets like this make me feel like blue is the natural state for this environment, but I don't like how sharp that is. So I want to dull it down to something darker and more dingy, but being full black doesn't feel appropriate either. So I find myself working inside of this blended slurry sort of effect going on here. Oh wow, I am just really spiking right now, Jesus. There's, I don't even know who I'm going to be tomorrow. Hey, 20 minutes left. I'm good with it. My body is shaking. There is something moving. I'm not at any kind of risk of harm. It's there's some significant releases in my spine over the weekend, and it's still the tremors are still shaking themselves out of my body. But I've been holding huge amounts of stress for decades, and I think my body has been informed of how to release all of it, and it's cautiously disengaging different pieces of tension and posture that I hold, and so there's a lot of energy being released through my system that was just constant stress that was holding my body in a particular posture, and I think my body has been given permission to stop doing that. So now it's attempting to dump the load, but at the same time it has all of this energy that it's used to maintaining some sort of a held structured pattern with, and that's being dissolved right now. So I get these weird shaking tremors, almost like a mini seizure in different parts of my body that it just locks up for a few minutes, and then it just floods my system with dopamine, I think, for lack of a better word. It's just incredibly satisfying, and is its own form of reward that compels me to allow more release to occur, just because of the physical kick that I get from it. It's an almost addictive type of meditation, almost like it's aware that it's triggering different chemicals in my brain, and I almost want to say that's a purpose behind it. I don't know. I believe it's intentional. And I also know that there's only things with good intentions have keys. So anything that a passenger or a pilot's going to be is a safe space. It's just a matter of me not being familiar with them. So I have to become acquainted, and depending what tier they're at, it could cause psychosis and disassociation and loss of information. If they're too highly aligned with their own truth, it tends to cause meat puppets like us to go insane, because we automatically entrain with anything around us energetically, and so when a strong entity is present that is grounded into a larger awareness of basic reality than our machinery is used to, it causes us to have psychotic, by psychosis I mean disassociating with our normal personality and thought patterns. Actions seem disjointed, illogical, completely intuitive, but that's the process that these things go through, that they're not used to cause, the cause effect matrix, where if you do something, it's going to cause something else to happen, and then just reality, entropy cascades from that. They disrupt entropy. They don't obey those rules, and I don't know how much authority their default presence has inside of the four-dimensional space that we operate inside of, but I feel like they don't. So when they become present, they shift they shift the momentum of your entropy, so you start cascading in a different direction. And I think you becoming aware of that shift in angle causes I've all my hair on my arm is standing up right now. I've got a heater just banging next to me, but my whole system is freezing out. I think there's new pathways that are being resurfaced, I guess, for lack of a better word, with the tension being released. Interesting, that's for sure. Present. Present. Upgrade. Okay. Yeah. The system is down. Oh wow. Yeah. Upgrade. Serious. So apparently my nervous system isn't capable of holding the. I'm still in the body shop, I guess. It's a literal term you could use, because my body's being worked on. I have a small legion of gremlins that crawl inside of my nervous system, and they fix and change things. Like they can pull out pieces of my psyche and replace it with more durable machinery that's able to process different memories or emotions that would have caused me to black out in the past, like to disassociate and have like a PTSD trauma response that causes the brain to shut down, and then you just run on basically reflexes. I don't know if anyone else has out there has PTSD experiences or not, but if you do, God bless you for surviving. Yeah, you can you black out because the emotional experience is beyond the capacity of what your nervous system can experience. It shorts you out, like it shorts you out. So you disconnect and you can't remember what happened because your circuitry was misfiring, and so you can't connect with what your experience was like, especially like if you're around loved ones that you believe that you care about, but then the episodes that you have, you either cause them emotional or heaven forbid physical damage through some sort of abuse cycle that you're trapped up inside of. As a purely isolated example, it could be anything, you know. But yeah, if you're experiencing a trigger that hits that energy inside of you, and you don't have a nervous system that's capable of, like, the voltage is wrong, right? Like really nasty emotions have a huge voltage, so you have to have a nervous system that is calibrated to and properly insulated to allow those emotions to flow through and retain awareness at the same time. The emotion will flow through you. It's just a matter of, do you have the circuitry in place that allows you to retain witness of those moments, or will you black out and disassociate? And so a lot of my own personal work over the past couple years has been to strengthen my nervous system so that I no longer disassociate when events occur around me that make me feel unsafe. And for a long time, those moments of losing safety was when I was around family. So I would have like these psychotic episodes where I would be mostly emotionally abusive, but in very rare instances physically abusive to people around me. And it's taken me a lot of work to be able to build up a nervous system that's capable of processing those feelings without disconnecting from them, and then letting the physical machine just go whirly jerly and just speak or act in harmful ways to the people around me. And honestly, it's just a small grace of God that I haven't been prosecuted for anything, or I won't bore the audience with my own particular details in this instance, but what I can feel happening right now is that the gremlins are working through an energy structure in my chest that has prevented me from being able to access a lot of the emotions that naturally house themselves in my heart, like generosity and mercy and empathy. And these are feelings that, when triggered, can release you from your emotional trauma state. So being able to feel, like, have those become your grounded feelings when the triggering circumstances occur, instead of you disconnecting, the new nervous system allows you to observe, albeit in extreme horror at first, at how you act, but it's the simple ability to reconnect and be able to stay awake during those moments, and to be able to recount what happened is a massive victory for somebody that is familiar with being in a trauma state. So I think a lot of what I'm experiencing, particularly this evening, is me becoming aware of a new director that is going through cycle steps to see what my energy system is still capable of perceiving, and it's basically doing field tests. It's kind of kicking the tires a bit, just to see how it runs. I think that's the presence that I felt earlier today at the beginning of this session was an auditor, for lack of a better words. If you want to use a Scientologist language, I guess would be an auditor that's testing the energy patterns to recognize what capacity am I able to operate in at, which basically means I'm going to be fed larger truths, whether there are things I'm supposed to be sharing with people, or if it's just personal observations about myself. It will be what it is, but it's an upgrade. I find it interesting how frequently I witness upgrade events while I'm streaming like this, but I think that's really more than anything a testimony to how much I really appreciate and enjoy falling into pushing pixels just as its own meditative experience, because I can feel myself just pushing theta. Like I think I'm sitting like super solid inside of the theta brave length light right now. Like shit just is unwinding around me. I can feel my head is trying to just peel apart, which is a familiar feeling when I go through an energetic upgrade. So chances are at the end of this process, which will probably take 48 to 72 hours from an hour or so ago, it's going to be so I guess when I'm back online on Thursday, we'll see if there's been any changes or not, and see if I'm full of shit or not. But I guess I'm in wrap up right now, because we only have a few minutes left that I'll be streaming tonight. So obviously I'm making a big fuzzy puddle of murkiness. I have no idea how much of this is actually going to end up holding up at the end of the process. The last, like when we were up in the cemetery, I ended up rewashing a lot of those cesspools, and this has every possibility of having that as well. I just don't know how much of this is actually going to survive through to the end of the process. But it's certainly fun pushing the pixels. So I don't begrudge that. It's just it's time consuming, and I just have to be okay with not knowing how long the process is going to take. But generally, it just kind of snaps into perspective, and then it's done. So I'm allowing that process to play out here as well again, and just to demonstrate practiced art. You know, I've been doing this for some 20,000 hours over the past 30 years, and I get lost a lot and look like an amateur from time to time, but I think the flow state is something that I spent more time mastering than the actual individual techniques, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to continue demonstrating that flow state here with y'all, and just end up having fun and talking about shit that I don't know if it makes any sense or not, but I like saying it. I like not knowing what it is I'm going to say. Much like pushing the pixels into the art piece, a lot of the conversation that I have here on stream, I really don't know what I'm talking about at the time, and I get to go back and watch the stream to listen what the hell it is I was talking about. But there's my heart feels grateful at the end of this process, at the end of these streams. It's just, it is I would say an active prayer that I'm holding ritual for however long it is that I'm streaming for the day. So anyway, we're gonna be back in the morning in about 10 hours. We're going to be back online, and we're going to continue building out the Spelljammer tokens. We're working on the Star Moth right now. It's the last Spelljamming vessel that we have to complete out of the Spelljammer's Adventures in Space books that 5e put out. That's going to then let us maybe tomorrow, certainly Wednesday, be able to start building out the fighter craft that we have in the book. The specific, we have the roughs of them already. We've seen the roughs, but we'll be able to lock down the colorized tokens and lock down where everything is at on them and what their exact sizes and all the bloody blah. So that's so we finish the Star Moth. We get into fighter ships. That's going to be tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we'll be back on Thursday, again in the morning, doing fighter craft. But then Thursday night we'll be back here in Eberron, and we'll continue pushing pixels like this, see what kind of space it leads us into. My upgrades should probably be finished by then, so we'll see what I'm capable of when we jump back on stream together again. So yeah, less than a minute to go. I'm just going to go ahead and call stream now. I really appreciate anybody that came by and spent some time watching me push pixels, hung out. We do this 6 days a week, so if you want to hear more and see how things come along and anything about today's session was particularly compelling to you, drop me a signal down in the comments, like and subscribe, hit the bell, like and share. And be welcome to tell me what you're thinking. I don't get a lot of comments on my stuff. I think it's because it's kind of chill, but I am inviting conversation if you wish. So I will see you guys on the other side. Yeah, it's just a hot mess right now. We'll fix it. There we go. There's our timer. Right now we're just putting color on the page. We'll figure it out from there. So I'm going to see you guys in 10 hours, and thanks a lot for sticking around. See you on the other side.